On today's show, the Rockets offense absolutely cooks the Blazers for 140 points in their in-season tournament win, spearheaded by Kevin Durant with 30. Alperen Şengün nearing a triple-double once again. The Rockets taking great care of the basketball. We're going to break it all down for you right here at Locked On Rockets.
This is Mission Control, Houston.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is up, and welcome to another edition of Locked On Rockets, your daily podcast home for everything Houston Rockets basketball. As always, I'm your host, Jackson Gatlin, native Houstonian and credentialed media member. I'm also the host of Locked On NBA Fridays. Be sure to follow along wherever you listen to your podcasts or on YouTube. Just search Locked On Rockets, where the best way you can help us grow our show is to listen every single day on a podcast platform of your choosing, and then like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. On today's show, we're going to be breaking down the Rockets' 140-116 win over the Blazers. Now 2 games complete of the in-season tournament group stage play, so 2 games left. We'll do a breakdown of the standings a little bit later on. But in this game, Kevin Durant leading the way with 30 points. Alperen Şengün flirting with another triple-double. Jabari Smith Jr. with a strong game. Sheppard continues to impress coming off the bench. And the Rockets as a team doing a great job taking care of the basketball in this one. A lot to like about this win against the Blazers. A very complete win against this Blazers, a deceptively good Blazers team, mind you. First, want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. And as always, thanks so much for making Locked On Rockets part of your day every single day, whether it's on your way to work, on your lunch break, in the gym. Thank you so much for being an everydayer. Shout out to 4 very special everydayers all the way in Houston to watch this game from LA, to watch the Rockets put a whooping on the Blazers. Julio, Stephanie, Shane, and Jalen. Thank you guys so much for your kind words. Appreciate you guys for stopping me, saying what's up. I will say it was a first for me. It's the first time I've ever been asked to sign some Rockets merch. So that was really cool. But appreciate you guys for being everydayers. Thanks so much for tuning in the show. Hope you guys enjoyed the game. It was a great win, so I'm sure you guys had a great time. We love our everydayers here at Locked On Rockets, but let's go ahead and get into this game. Rockets 140, Blazers 116. That point differential is important. We'll break that down, right? The 24-point victory is important because point differential matters for these in-season tournament group stage games. And we'll do the update on the standings, bracket, and all that stuff a little bit later on. But this felt like a really complete win for the Rockets. And slowly but surely, this team is figuring things out. And my biggest takeaway from this game coming in, this game had the makings to potentially be a little bit of a disaster for the Rockets because their Achilles heel this season, right, has been turning the ball over, especially against some of those upper echelon defenses, in particular the Thunder and the Spurs, the 25 turnovers against OKC, the 24 turnovers against San Antonio. Coming into this game, the Blazers ranked number 4 in the NBA in steals per game, and they were number 1 in opponent turnover percentage. The Blazers do a really good job of turning opposing teams over. And the Rockets have struggled with taking care of the basketball to start this season, in large part because they're missing Fred VanVleet. They only had 6 turnovers in this game. That is incredible. Great discipline with the ball, great ball security, not making careless passes. Only 3 turnovers in the first half, 3 turnovers in the second half. And here's the thing, is like, it's the Blazers. They're not at the same level as the Thunder or the Spurs. So yes, I get that. But the numbers are the numbers. And this Blazers team does a good job. They've got strong point of attack defenders. They hustle. They play hard. They're physical. Tiago Splitter, their current interim head coach, former Rockets assistant head coach, and goes all the way back with Ime Udoka to his playing days. Like, you know, this Blazers team has a lot of similarities to this Rockets team, right? They're a good offensive rebounding team, and they play hard and they rebound well. And like, so this could have been a bit of a disastrous game for the Rockets because had they gotten into the trenches again and started turning the ball over a lot and let the Blazers kind of ball pressure get to them, then it could have been a bit of an ugly affair. It wasn't that. And instead, they dropped 140 on Portland. And here's the crazy thing. They had a strong offensive game. They shot 50% from the floor, 38% from 3, 85% from the free throw line. The Rockets have had better offensive performances than this one this season, but they haven't taken care of the basketball as well as they have in any other game to this one. Like, this is the best the Rockets have taken care of the basketball all season long. Only 6 turnovers. And on the flip side of that, their defense was phenomenal against the Blazers because they forced 20 Blazers turnovers. So not only did they take care of the basketball, they limited the opportunities that the Blazers had. Blazers only took 89 shots in this game. Rockets took 106 shots in this game. They had 20 offensive rebounds. They forced a ton of turnovers. This was a complete win in the sense that the Rockets basically won every major statistical category in this game against Portland. It's kind of absurd. And again, some of those, like the 20 turnovers that they forced, scored 30 points off those 20 turnovers. They only coughed it up 6 times. Blazers only scored 11 points off those. Rockets won the fast break battle 23-9. They won the points in the paint battle 56-54. Just across the board, Rockets dominated the Blazers in every single category imaginable. And this is what good teams do. And the Blazers aren't even like a bad team. Like, they're 500. They're like actually like a sneaky kind of like, you see the Blazers on the calendar, you're like, we don't want to deal with the Blazers. Like, they're that kind of team this season. They play hard. Nobody wants to deal with them. And yet the Rockets are just steamrolling over every team that is a non-contender. And even against the contending teams that they faced, right, the upper echelon teams, every single one of those games have been incredibly competitive and basically gone all the way down to the wire. And that's how it should be. Because if you win half your games against the good teams, and if you win every game against the bad teams in the NBA, that's 75% of your games right there. Like, that's a 70% or 80% win rate if you're doing just that. And I know we need to see this Rockets team face some more of the upper echelon competition. And, they're 1-3 against quote unquote good teams so far. Not worried about that in the slightest. This team gives very legitimate championship vibes. They do. And it's all being spearheaded by Kevin Durant, who, my God, watching KD hoop is just, it's absurd. I lose words to describe how crazy it is to watch him when he pulls up from mid-range with like two defenders draped all over him, hands in his face, and just knocks it down like he's out there getting warm-up shots with nobody around him. It's nuts. And that level of poise and confidence that KD has in his own game is infectious. And it feels like it's permeating this whole team where, we've heard about KD's, incredible work ethic. And that's one of the things that makes him such an all-time great player is how hard he works on his game every single day. And just having him around the rest of these Rockets players, having him around all the young guys, seeing how he's elevating and really pouring into all of these guys, right? Alperen Şengün did an interview the other day where, KD, when he came to Houston, he wasn't like, this is my team now and everything goes through me. Like, his mentality is to empower all the other players on this team. So because KD doesn't want to be the only guy putting up 30, 40 a night. He doesn't want to be the be all end all of this team or the make or break for this team. KD wants to be, KD's the tip of the spear. Absolutely. But you can't win a championship by yourself. You need high quality teammates. You need other talented players. And watching KD every single day, whether it's games, practices, shoot arounds, whatever, pouring into these young guys, empowering Alperen Şengün to play at the level that he's playing at, right? Embracing him and trusting in him to be the, primary facilitator and the engine for this Rockets team. That's the thing is Şengün is the engine. Right? Şengün is the guy that makes the offense go. KD is the guy that can get the buckets whenever he wants. And KD's gravity paired with Alperen Şengün's playmaking ability and court vision and ability to facilitate from the middle of the floor and get other guys involved. That's what makes this, that's a big part of what makes this offense so incredibly dynamic. And seeing Kevin Durant hyping up the other guys, right? Like seeing, honestly, the one of, if not maybe the best development of this season has been watching KD hyping up Sheppard at every single possible turn. And there were two specific moments in this game. One where Reed had the ball in transition and KD was flanking him on the wing, and Reed wound up driving the ball all the way and scoring the layup himself. And like KD had his defender on him, and I'm sure KD was thinking don't pass, like go, like finish all the way, right? And Reed did, and KD was like hyping him up as soon as he, right after the play. And then a little bit later on in the game, right, there was the loose ball in the middle of the floor, and Reed dives on the floor, comes away with the loose ball. Blazers commit a foul. And immediately, Josh Okogie comes over and he's shoving Reed, and KD comes over and just pushes the hell out of Reed Sheppard's head and is just yelling and hyping him up. And he's so amped for the success of these younger players, of everybody else on the roster, because KD knows what he's capable of. But he also knows that for this team to get to where they want to go, everybody else needs to elevate their game, and watching him help elevate the play of everybody else on this Rockets roster. That's one of the underrated things about, acquiring a star like KD, is he makes life easier for these other players, but he's also so elite in his own regard that he knows what it takes to win at the highest level. And so he knows exactly what lessons to share, how to get the best out of these guys. And so from every, previous stop, you hear these talks about, oh, but KD's not a leader and he doesn't do this. KD looks every damn bit a leader in a Rockets jersey so far through these 11 games. And I don't know where any of those other narratives have come from. He has done everything and more for this Rockets team than you could ask for. He's putting up points. He's leading the team in scoring. He's getting them clutch buckets when they need it. He's facilitating at a high level. He's attracting all the eyes of the defense, and he's making life easier for the other four guys on the floor that he's sharing the court with. And it's truly fun basketball to witness. It really is. Coming up, I want to talk about some other elements from this game, areas where the Rockets did really well against this Blazers team. Talk about Alperen Şengün's triple-double, Jabari Smith Jr.'s strong performance, Reed Sheppard continues to impress off the bench, and so much more. We're going to get there in just one moment. First, today's episode is brought to you by Drip Drop. Look, when I'm hydrated, everything just works better. My focus, my energy, my mood, even my skin looks a little bit better. That's why I've been using Drip Drop. It's doctor-developed hydration that keeps me running at full power no matter what my day looks like. Drip Drop isn't your average sports drink. It delivers 3 times the electrolytes at half the sugar of leading brands using a science-backed formula trusted by medical professionals, firefighters, and over 90% of top college and pro teams. Drip Drop is part of my daily routine now. You just mixing in a packet, into some water before, maybe it's, before I head out the door in the morning, or just throughout the day, maybe, trying to avoid that little bit of midday slump if I feel a little bit dehydrated, that kind of stuff. So right now, Drip Drop is offering our listeners 20% off your first order. Go to dripdrop.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNBA. That's dripdrop.com, promo code LOCKEDONNBA for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits hard, and keep your body and mind performing at their best with Drip Drop. Today's episode is also brought to you by Wayfair. The holiday season is right around the corner, and that means it's time to get your home ready. Whether you need more seating for guests, cozy new linens, or fun serveware for holiday hosting, Wayfair's Black Friday sale is here to help you make your space shine. And the best part, you don't have to wait around. Wayfair's Black Friday deals are happening all month long with up to 70% off everything from sofas to spatulas. I just had to buy myself a new entertainment console for my living room, and I got it off Wayfair, and it was fantastic. My favorite part, the free shipping. No hassle, no shipping, no extra fees for heavy items or any of that stuff. Wayfair makes it so fast and so easy. So don't miss out on early Black Friday deals. Head to wayfair.com now to shop Wayfair's Black Friday sale for up to 70% off. That's wayfair.com, wayfair.com. Sale ends December 7th. And continuing on here at Locked On Rockets, your daily podcast, home for everything Houston Rockets basketball. Let's talk a little Alperen Şengün from this one, because Alp continues to put up all NBA caliber numbers, and he also continues to fail to secure the triple doubles, man. 25 points on 9 of 13 shooting, 10 boards, 9 dimes, 3 steals, 3 blocks, and 4 made three-pointers. He's the first player to meet or exceed those numbers in NBA history. One of one stat line from Alperen Şengün in this game. And one of these days he's going to actually get the triple-double. And I know there's some Rockets fans and some Turkish fans that are chagrined at Ime Udoka not leaving him in the game to try and chase or stat pad the triple-double, although he did give him a little bit more time. He gave him a few extra possessions. That's kind of the rule of thumb, right? And he referenced that we talked about this over summer during that one Turkish interview that he had, where ever since Amin Thompson got hurt chasing that triple-double, hurting his ankle, Ime has been very hesitant about leaving his guys in the game. Even a game like an in-season tournament matchup where the point differential does matter at the end of the day, he didn't leave his starters in to run up the score, right? He wound up pulling Alp out of the game. But look, it's crazy that this has become the norm for Alperen Şengün. Like, he's basically almost a guaranteed, like, at minimum, he's giving you like 27-7 every single night, right? And some nights like this one, he exceeds those numbers and he gets you, a damn near triple-double, right? And watching him, the most impressive development from Alperen Şengün's season, it's not the playmaking, because we knew he was capable of that. And we knew that just putting the ball in his hands and running the offense through him and going to the shin hub offense and making him the offensive fulcrum, we knew that he had Jokic-esque passing ability that would look like this. We saw it in Eurobasket. Now we're seeing it in a Rockets jersey. It's great. It's frustrating that it took so long to happen in a Rockets jersey, but now they have the personnel around it. They're leaning into it all the way. But the shooting, man, the shooting is just crazy. Like it's like overnight, a switch was flipped. And Alpi spoke about his shooting leap post game, talking about the fact that it kind of started, like, he put in a lot of work this offseason and he wanted to kind of like test it out in Eurobasket, right? The shooting. And Ergin Ataman, for the head coach of the Turkish national team, gave him that confidence to continue shooting the ball and he would get mad at him. He was like, hey, you were open, you didn't shoot. And to then have that and to come back to the Rockets and have Ime continue giving him that confidence and that trust. Hey, we know that you're a good shooter. Take those shots, take them with confidence. Confidence is everything at the end of the day. Like, if you are out there playing scared, if you're not out there playing your game, if you're not out there playing confident, then it's not going to work. And I will forever be frustrated by the fact that for the first 2 seasons of his career, Alperen Şengün had a coach in Steven Silas that did not empower him to take those shots, that actually cautioned him, that didn't want him taking threes because he didn't believe in Alpi's ability to hit those shots. And you want to talk about mismanaging a player's talent? That is one of the most egregious mismanagements of talent that I can think of in recent memory, right? Because they wanted to turn Alperen Şengün into like a lob threat rolling big man. I'm not even going to play the soundbite because that's how frustrated I am. When that is so far from being his game, right? He's a guy that you put the ball in his hands, let him see the floor, right? Kevin Durant said it the other day in that tweet, 28 sees everything. And it feels that way, right? When Alperen Şengün has the ball in his hands, when he's dictating the offense, watching how guys are moving, cutting, moving throughout the floor, he's sensational at getting other guys the rock in positions where they are, advantageous positions where they can then score the basketball or they get really easy opportunities. One of my favorite plays from this game was the little like immediate, like it was like a back and forth. Like I think it was KD to Alpi, back to KD, then KD back to Alpi, and then Alpi like touch passed it out to Reed Sheppard on the perimeter when the Blazers are trying to run their zone defense for a little bit, and Reed bangs a 3-pointer. Like just such simple little back and forth, boom. Easy offense, right? And that's what it feels like when you play through Alperen Şengün, when he's playing at this level. Right now, Alperen Şengün is playing as the second best big man in the NBA. Period, point blank. He is the second best big man in the NBA. And the only big playing better than Alperen Şengün right now is that 3-time MVP in Denver, who is, Alpi's nickname namesake being Baby Jokić, right? You go back and look at like the age 23 seasons for Şengün and Jokić, and they are eerily similar as far as statistical production. And again, Alpi may never be Jokić because Jokić is one of one, right? We've never seen a player like Jokić in NBA history. And he's one of the greatest to ever touch a basketball. But Alperen Şengün is also the closest thing to Jokić in today's NBA. I don't ever want to hear another comparison of Alperen Şengün to Domantas Sabonis ever again for the rest of my life. We have moved on from all of those conversations. it's Jokić and it's Alpi, and it's those two guys. And Alpi may never be truly in the same tier as Jokić, but if you're even one tier removed from Jokić, that's pretty damn good at the end of the day. Loved what we saw out of Jabari in this game. Strong performance from him. 22 points, 9 of 16 shooting, 4 of 9 from downtown. He had that one little exchange with Shaedon Sharpe where, unfortunately, Sharpe kind of boomed him at the rim. Which, to Jabari's credit, Jabari was chasing another guy, and then switched onto Sharpe at the last moment because Sharpe was cutting, cutting through the paint. And credit to Jabari for trying to defend the dunk. But then immediately comes down the other end and bangs a three-pointer in Shaedon Sharpe's face, and had some words for the Blazers bench because they were chirping at him after the dunk. And, those little kind of in-your-face, back-and-forth moments where the teams are talking trash, whatever. It feels like this Rockets team kind of thrives on some of those moments. And so that was a fun little kind of interaction to see. And you need that production from Jabari, right? You need him to be hitting threes at a high level. You need him to be confident with his shot, especially in light of, unfortunately, the Tari Eason injury, which at the time that I'm recording this, I don't have more information. The Rockets were calling it a hip contusion. And so he didn't play the rest of the game. He was coming off of a little handoff and tried to, squeeze through a defender and just completely rammed his hip into one of the Blazers players. And then he was down. He had to be helped off the court by Steven Adams. And then immediately, which, side note for everybody freaking out about Steven Adams and Tari Eason, they're fine, clearly. And then immediately went back to the locker room, and the Rockets just told us hip contusion, won't be back. And we didn't get any update from Ime post game, although I'm sure we'll get an update out of Rockets practice on Saturday. So really unfortunate injury for Tari, given how well he's been playing. Only 11 minutes played in this game, only 1 of 6 shooting. He was struggling a little bit in this one to hit the 3 ball. But hopefully it's nothing serious for Tari, because the Rockets the Rockets need Tari's production. He's been so incredible for them shooting the ball this season. Coming up, do you want to talk about Reed Sheppard, his continued impressive play, as well as Amin Thompson struggling a little bit in this game. And we'll get into why it felt like Amin was struggling and what he could maybe, change a little bit, or what needs to be a little bit different for his game moving forward, as well as the breakdown of the NBA Cup group standings. We're going to get there in just one moment. First, today's episode is brought to you by DoorDash. The NBA season is heating up, and DoorDash has found the perfect way to keep fans in their bag all season long. Whether you're watching for the highlights, your fantasy team, or just your favorite player, DoorDash makes every game night even better. DoorDash is the official on-demand delivery platform of the NBA, and they're celebrating with something called the Bag Drop. Every time an NBA player scores 50 in a game, DoorDash drops 50% off your order with Dash Pass the next day, and you're automatically entered for a chance to win the ultimate fan bag. We're talking player-inspired drip, exclusive gear, and stuff you'll actually want to get your hands on. So next time someone goes off for 50, use promo code NBA50 the next day to get 50% off on DoorDash with Dash Pass, plus your shot at the bag drop. Dash Pass members only, 50% off up to $10 the day after a 50-point game with promo code. Terms apply. No purchase necessary. Ends April 13th. Open to U.S. residents 21 or older. Visit DoorDashInYourBag.com for full details. DoorDash in your bag all season long. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, you can take a look at the odds on favorites to win the title this season. The Thunder still the favorites at plus 180, the Nuggets plus 650, the Cavs plus 700, the Knicks at plus 1,300, and the Rockets creeping up this list at plus 1,400 to win it all this season. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And final segment here at Locked On Rockets, your daily podcast home for everything Houston Rockets basketball. Reed Sheppard continues to ball out, guys. He's settling in. He's looking good. Talked a little bit about Kevin Durant elevating his teammates and really pouring into Reed Sheppard as a young player, right? And when I asked KD about this post game, right? Asked him about those moments between him and Reed. He said, confidence is everything, right? And sometimes, all we want to do is, criticize or be critical and, being able to hype guys up and when good things are happening out on the court. He talked about, every time KD does something, right? This is Kevin saying that, every time he does something on the court, he hits a tough bucket or whatever, Reed's always telling him, that's tough, KD. That's tough, Kev. Like, and so it's a two-way street, right? It's just teammates lifting each other up. And for a second-year guy like Reed Sheppard to be getting that kind of confidence and motivation from a future first-ballot Hall of Famer, it's really doing wonders to elevate his game. It is. And in this one, 13 points, 5 of 12 shooting, 3 of 9 from long distance, had 3 dimes, 4 steals. Like it's crazy that we knew that Reed Sheppard had the hands, right? And with each passing game, the defense is translating and getting a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better with each game. Him diving on the floor for the loose ball, him forcing turnovers and getting out and running in transition because of it. Reed has been nothing short of spectacular. And the Rockets, when Reed, KD, and Şengün all share the floor together, are posting a 130 offensive rating. It's only like 46 minutes of game time so far. I don't have the possession count in front of me, but that's absurd. Like the level at which the Rockets offense plays when Reed is out there. And that's the Rockets' best 5-man unit right now is Reed Sheppard, Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith Jr., Kevin Durant, Alperen Şengün. Those 5, when they share the floor, it feels like they flat out dominate. And that could be, at some point later on this season, that might be the Rockets' eventual starting lineup, right? Maybe Reed's not quite ready for it yet. They're still bringing him along slowly. They don't want to completely throw him into the deep end and overwhelm him by making him the starter right now. But if this Rockets team wants to win a title this season, and if they don't have any plans to make a trade for Fred VanVleet or a Fred VanVleet replacement, I should say, down the line, then if Reed is going to continue to develop at this rate, it feels like at some point he's going to be inserted into the starting lineup, and then that'll be their best Rockets 5. And that'll give them the best shot at winning a title this season, which is kind of nuts to think about saying 11 games into the season, especially considering some of, including my own, overreactions to Reed Sheppard earlier in the season and specifically this past summer with the summer league struggles and some of that. So really impressive, really nice seeing what we've seen out of Reed so far. And even in a game where he didn't shoot the basketball particularly well, he was only 3 of 9 from downtown. And that's well below the blistering, like 46% or whatever that he's been shooting. So, hurting his numbers a little bit there. Also, Reed broke out he broke out a new 3-point celly in this one. And I for the life of me, I need your thought. What was Reed trying to do with the 3-point celly? Because I've seen some people say that he was trying to do like the air guitar. And then I saw Mama Eason say on Twitter that he was trying to clean off his 3-ball to say, or like that he was like polishing his 3 because of how clean it was or something. Like, I don't know what. And then some people said that it reminded him like Happy Gilmore, like hopping around with the golf club, like after like his. I don't know what Reed was going for. I was getting like kind of like rodeo vibes from it a little bit, so more on the Happy Gilmore side of things. What was Reed's attempt at his 3-point celly? Because clearly he spent some VC to upgrade his 3-point celly, but he needs. I think we might have to workshop that one. I don't know. It was exciting to see, and Rockets bench was loving it. It was a great game, man. The vibes all around were fantastic. After the game, even Alperen Şengün crashed Jabari Smith Jr.'s post-game interview and came and sat right behind Vanessa Richardson and myself, and we were like looking back at him, like we were like, "Hey, are you gonna ask a question?" Because that happens sometimes, right? Tari Eason's, notorious for doing that, for crashing a post-game scrum and then wanting to ask a question. Like last year, he was asking Fred, what has encouraged you to get up on that rim this season? Like, those little moments, like the vibes are just at an all-time high for this Rockets team. I'm hesitant to say it, but like I'm getting like 2017, 2018 vibes from this same Rockets team. Like it's. I don't want to go all the way and say it, but I'm getting those same vibes a little bit, which is very exciting and also kind of terrifying. But I do want to mention Amin Thompson's game here a little bit because it wasn't all perfect. It wasn't all sunshine and roses. But Amin struggled in this game. 19 points, only 6 of 17 shooting. Didn't turn the ball over, which is, encouraging, but missed all 4 of his threes and really struggled with some of those like mid-range attempts that he had, trying to drive, get downhill, that kind of thing. And kind of, I think at times letting the defense off the hook, right? Settling for some of those midi pull-ups and those little floaters a little away, 5 feet away from the rim, 7 feet away from the rim, whatever it is. And for Amin, it's important for him to be able to hit those shots and have the touch to hit those shots. And we can just chalk it up to an off game because we've also seen him drill a bunch of those shots in previous games, right? So it's not fair to say he doesn't have that in his bag. But at the same time, I do feel like sometimes he lets the defense off the hook by not just getting all the way downhill. Like there was a sequence where I forget if it was directly I feel like it happened kind of close to when it was just before halftime. That's what it was. And Amin Thompson, there was a point where Amin Thompson came down the floor and there was a play right before where I forget if it was Shaedon Sharpe or another Blazers player. Somebody had broken down the Rockets defense, got to the rim, dunked it, right? And then Amin Thompson almost took that personally and then came down the next play. And then the Blazers defense, like Rockets were kind of running to their spots, whatever. And then there was just kind of a parting of the Red Seas moment where Amin Thompson saw his driving lane and just turned on the jets, blew right past his defender, and then just elevated and dunked it home. And it's not that he can do it every play, but I think that Amin can do that more often than he maybe realizes at times offensively, is to just once he gets that explosive first step in and he gets his shoulders past his defender, it's curtains, right? And I just kind of wish, and we haven't, unfortunately, because of the personnel that the Rockets have right now, we haven't seen enough of those truly 5-out lineups where you just put 4 shooters next to Amin Thompson and say, all right, pick your poison. You're either going to guard Amin Thompson one-on-one and he's going to beat you off the dribble, or you're going to send help and he's going to kick out for 3. We haven't really seen a ton of that yet this season. And I'm excited for when we do get to see it, with the return of Dorian Finney-Smith and hopefully, Tari Eason, if he hopefully doesn't miss any time, but the Rockets have a lot of different ways that they can play and beat you. And for Amin Thompson, the encouraging thing was he did make it to the free throw line 7 times and he knocked down all 7 of them. So that's an incredibly encouraging sign. So he still managed to get to 19 points. That's not easy to do. But there's just also moments where if Josh Okogie's in the dunker spot, then Amin Thompson has to be out on the wing. And then if the Rockets are moving the ball around, then he becomes the release valve when there's that zone defense trying to slow things down. And then he's settling, for too many threes, it feels like, because it's not his game. You don't need Amin Thompson taking 3 or 4 or 5 3-pointers in a given game. You need him being aggressive. You need him getting downhill, and you need him either with the ball in his hands, attacking downhill, or you need him playing out of the corners and playing out of the dunker spot and cutting at the highest level, right? That's what he's elite at. And when he's not doing those things, you're not getting the best version of Amin Thompson. So, but that's unfortunately, that's just kind of life with where the Rockets are at, with Okogie and Amin kind of sharing those kind of dual roles of sometimes Josh Okogie's in the dunker spot or playing out of the weak side corner. And that's ideally the place where you'd want Amin Thompson. But if he's walking the ball up and then passing it off to Alp or KD, then he has to go slot into the wing. And I don't know. I'm nitpicking here for a team that just dropped 140 points, but it is what it is. All right, let's get to these. Also, I will say Steven Adams. I just want a really quick note on Steven Adams. There was a play where he just bullied Donovan Clingan out of the way, just gave him a little bit of a forearm shiver and shoved him out of the picture to get a rebound. And Donovan Clingan is not a small boy. Donovan Clingan is a massive human being in his own right. And Steven Adams is out there, and it's it's he's just playing around with a bunch of kids. It's nuts watching Steven Adams dominate the glass the way that he does. 11 rebounds in 18 minutes in this game, 5 of them on the offensive glass, a plus 22 in his minutes. This Rockets team has so many different ways that they can beat you. All Okay, let's get to the updated in-season tournament standings here for West Group C, aka the Group of Death. Right now, the Nuggets are leading the pack. They are 1-1, and they have a plus 23 point differential. So again, point differential matters for tiebreakers, and it matters for the wild card chase of the fourth team, so the team that doesn't outright win their group. So there's the outright winner from West Group A, B, and C, and then there's the team with the highest point differential that did not win their group gets the fourth and final slot of the knockout stage bracket for the Western Conference. So that's why point differential matters. That's why it was nice that the Rockets got that plus 24 in this game. They were minus 11 in the loss against the Spurs, so they currently have that plus 13 point differential. So it goes Nuggets right now, 1-1, plus 23. The Rockets are 1-1, and they are plus 13. The Spurs right behind the Rockets, 1-1, but they are plus 10. And then the Blazers are 1-1, but they're minus 22. And the Warriors also 1-1, minus 24. So the Rockets currently in second place of their in-season tournament group stage bracket. And I'll tell you what, man, next Friday night, Nuggets in town, Jokić versus Sengun. That's going to be absolute fireworks in-season tournament game. And that'll probably be the game that decides whether or not the Rockets actually advance in the in-season tournament. Because if they drop that one and fall to 1-2, and then the best you can finish is 2-2 after, playing the Warriors on that final game on the road, that's going to be really tough to be able to squeeze into the tournament. So I'm not going to say next Friday is for all the marbles for the in-season tournament, because there's still like the dark, the puncher's chance that they make it in. But that game is going to hopefully feel like it's got playoff ramifications and playoff atmosphere. And obviously for two of the best teams in the NBA in general, it'll be a good kind of litmus test to see where this Rockets team stacks up against another elite team now that they're kind of settling into more of their identity. KD's getting accustomed to playing with his teammates. They're learning how to play off of KD, all that good stuff. So should be an awesome game. And I will say the Sunday night game against the Orlando Magic, no Paolo Banchero in that game. So, I won't say they'll be able to sleepwalk to a win, but the first 3,000 fans there will get their hands on the first ever Kevin Durant Houston Rockets bobblehead. And I got to tell you guys, it looks pretty sick. It's a great bobblehead. I got one right here. Kevin Durant bobblehead night, first 3,000 fans. Kevin Durant bobblehead night, first 3,000 fans. Kevin Durant bobblehead night, first 3,000 fans. I told the Rockets I'd say it as fast as I possibly could. It's really hard to say, but you can look at the bobblehead. It's awesome. At the bottom, they've got Welcome to Houston with the little license plate logo. They've got Kevin Durant right at the bottom, and they have the R in Durant spelled with the Rockets R logo. This is a great Rockets bobblehead. It's even got the Houston skyline in the background. This might be one of my favorite Rockets bobbleheads that I've ever owned. So get yourself there early on Sunday. Get yourself a Kevin Durant bobblehead because it looks awesome. And enjoy the game, all that good stuff. But with that, that's going to do it for this episode. I want your thoughts on the Rockets win against the Blazers, thoughts on the in-season tournament bracket, all that stuff in the YouTube comments. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And we look forward to having you back right here at Locked On Rockets, your daily podcast home for everything Houston Rockets basketball.